What is going on, guys and girls? It is Ghost Robo, and welcome to some more Evolve. Today's episode is extra awesome because we have brand new hunters.
Cabot is the support class. He provides the team with a tactical advantage. The damage amplifier multiplies all damage delivered to the target by your teammates. Dust tagging covers a large area in radioactive dust that outlines all creatures caught inside. The rail cannon emits an instantaneous blast that can blow through objects and damage creatures on the other side. Remember to use support's cloak ability.
And with that, we will kick things off. As you see here, this is not me playing, but rather some gameplay from the studio showcasing their brand new support. Now, digging through the information that has been revealed over the last couple of weeks, I think we're able to piece together the third tier of hunters, the final quartet, and that would be Kyra the medic, Abe the trapper, Cabot the support, and I believe it's Parnell the assault. But today we're talking all about Cabot and also how it sort of lays the groundwork for what I feel will be the inevitable meta game of how people form their teams of hunters and what they specifically look for and rely on, and if there will be sort of a golden combination. We'll get to that in a second. First, I want to talk about this guy because I find him to be pretty darn alluring. His main big sort of firework, most obvious defining factor is this dust tracker where he drops radioactive powder from the sky to light up and illuminate the monster no matter where he runs, which is a pretty cool move. But personally, I'm a bigger fan of his damage amplifier and the way that can be used in coordination with teammates to really take care of not only Goliath or the Kraken, but also wildlife to gain perks. So he's able to put a beam on any creature and then multiply damage. Now, if you use that in conjunction with other characters who open up sweet spots like some of the medics or whatnot, you could really create some heavy combos in terms of damage dealt. He also has this gun that shoots through rocks and walls, as well as the traditional support cloak. I think he's a pretty cool character, and you'll get to see all of his moves be used here, as well as a little bit of Abe throwing some of these stasis grenades, which drastically slow down Goliath as he tries to group up the hunters and gobble them down. But what I was saying at the top of the video is now that we have seen a majority, if not all of the hunters in some capacity, you begin to sort of think about how teams are going to form. And Cabot here is one who, to my knowledge, is sort of the first that has a overlapping skill in a slight sense. Val the medic has a trank dart gun that is able to light up the monster as well as slow it down. Now, Cabot's dust tracker lights up the monster or any other wildlife, but it doesn't slow them down. Nonetheless, its main effect to me is highlighting the monster and keeping him in the sights of each and every hunter. And with skill overlap, it makes me think about, will there be a golden combination of hunters? Like, okay, I don't need Val because I can have Cabot, and therefore I can utilize another medic, such as Lazarus, and get his benefits plus Cabot's benefits. Now, granted, with Cabot, you're sacrificing someone else's benefits. So when I first thought of this, I was like, okay, this could be very negative because, now Val is sort of her main trick is rendered useless. But I think, in fact, what it does is just create more flexibility. So say someone is really good as a medic and they want to use Val because they want to be the one having that trank dart, have the accuracy to spot the monster and shoot him and make sure they get him locked down. Well, that would allow for someone to be a different support, perhaps Bucket, who could do a better job with the UAV of tracking the monster at far distance. Because remember, this dust tracker is sort of just like a throw it out there and hope it hits type move. You have to have some sense of where the monster is to be able to knock it down in that way. Or, say you're like, you know what, I'm a really good support, I want that dust tracker. Well, now it opens up your teammate to be able to use, Lazarus or Kyra, who I think has a crazy set of attacks and weaponry. We'll get to her, hopefully, in a subsequent video. And so what you're beginning to see is what I think is the opposite of a golden combination, and in fact, just a plethora of different assortments of hunters. And I really hope to see people find a favorite character, because ultimately what I think would service this game really well is if people had characters that they loved rather than skills that they love, or perhaps it's okay to have both. If you really like to track the monster, you really like to illuminate him for your teammates, well, now you have the option to play Val or Cabot, and you can kind of do sort of the same thing, but not too similar. Remember, the support, by gaining that dust tracker ability, is sacrificing something else. So he's losing, for example, the orbital strike, or he's losing the tracking UAV head drone of Bucket. And then his weapon, gives him a totally different thing as well, because the dust trackers sort of throw it out there at distance, but his gun is clearly an up-close and personal gun that's going to require line of sight. And so they kind of work in coordination. All in all, I just think it's pretty smart. I think it's pretty cool how we're starting to see how a lot of these characters could sort of synergize together to create some pretty epic combos. And I don't know that there will be a, per se, golden group of hunters, but I think that people will begin to find teams that work in a tactical structure that feels like the golden combination for them. So, for example, if I really like playing medic, and let's say I settle on Lazarus, who's currently my favorite character, even Kyra, well, then it might be a benefit to have my support on my team play Cabot, and so you can begin to really build off of each other. And I guess, what will keep this game going, especially as they add more monsters and as they add more hunters eventually through a hopefully long cycle of DLC, is their ability to sort of merge the classes without creating a superhero. Because the last thing you want to do is have a character that is able to take the strength of some other class and yet maintain its own ability as well. So, the damage amplifier does worry me a bit, because now Cabot, has the ability to amplify damage as well as track, and so he's sort of blurring the lines between classes, I feel, a bit. Kyra, you'll hopefully see soon. I haven't seen much gameplay of her, but they've definitely discussed her. She has the ability to deal a lot of damage, and it's risky for a medic to do such a thing, but it's more of a hybrid class than either Lazarus or Val before. And I wonder how support like Cabot, a medic like Kyra, will integrate with the other classes, and whether there will be specific combos that do turn out to be more successful. Again, this is all just a hypothesis at this point. I haven't played these other characters. We haven't seen how they work. There's plenty more modes, maps, and monsters to be revealed still. But they must have so many spreadsheets on their hands, really trying to decide and decipher how they're going to lay this all out to hope that it works totally clean and perfect. I hope that kind of got through my main point of what I was trying to say, which is I think they're doing a really nice job of separating the skills and also offering some different choices, so that it's not like, well, the medic is the guy that does this and the support is the guy that does this. It is from a general standpoint, but there's a little bit of flexibility. So say you like playing support, you're not always doing the same thing. You could be the support class and utilize that consistent cloak ability that will stay the same for every hunter within the support role, but you do have a little bit of differences in terms of their specific skill. So I want to know what you guys thought about that. If you think that this game looks like it's being balanced well, if they're on the right track, if you would rather the classes stay very strict to their role versus coming a little bit approaching the line kind of between some of the classes. I have the volume turned down here, unfortunately, because there is commentary over the video, and it just was getting way too crazy with my voice and their voice. I really am excited for Evolve. The alpha, I haven't sort of done a full thoughts video on the alpha, and maybe I will. I definitely can say that it's harder to play this game if you do not have a full team. Going solo as a hunter was kind of frustrating most of the time, because people didn't know where they were going. I was really wanting to yell for people to do this. So again, I think this is a game that really requires friends, really requires a headset. And I really hope that in the final game, they'll come out with a 5-player playlist, because in the alpha, all that was there was a 4-player playlist. And if you have a group of friends, it would be nice to have someone be able to rotate through as the monster and still maintain a full squad of hunters. But I'm excited to see, we basically have the full field of hunters laid out, and there will be more info. And if you guys want, I will do videos on each of the new hunters and my thoughts on them. Definitely hit that like button if you're enjoying this Evolve stuff and want to see more of it. It's currently my it's a game that I really want to follow in depth up to launch, because I just find it so intriguing and all the balance, and I love Left 4 Dead, and they seem to be really, I think, quite brilliant as they build this game. But now we got to see that third monster. We need the third monster. The game comes out in 3 months, which still feels like a long ways away, but ultimately it's not that far away, especially with a beta in January on Xbox One. So I'm hoping we'll get some details on the monster, maybe a Christmas present, something along those lines. Let me know what you guys think of Cabot, if he is a support you'd want to play versus the others. I think his tracking his dust cloud is pretty interesting. It's going to require precision. Like, this team makes it look pretty good because they hit it multiple times. But personally, I think the damage amplifier might be his true best skill, because using that in conjunction with the assault to really maximize damage, especially if you have a medic staying their distance and sniping away and creating weak points, you're getting the weak point in conjunction with that damage amplifier, and assault could really go to town. The monster wins, and he leaves the field with a yell. Thank you guys so much for watching. I won't yell at you. I'll just say, have a fantastic day. Hit that like button if you enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Drink so much. Until next time, we will see you all later.